John Wall was a 5-time All-Star, a slam dunk champion, and one of the most entertaining players of all time. From his insanely athletic moves and dunks to the clips of him dancing, he always put on a show. However, John Wall also has a pretty crazy story that not a lot of people even know about. He's seen the highest of highs, but throughout his journey, he's seen the lowest of lows as well. Before he became a top guard in the league, he had a rough upbringing to say the least. Growing up in North Carolina, John and his family were really struggling. His dad went to jail for armed robbery when he was just a baby and would end up passing away from cancer when John was only 9 years old. His mom worked multiple jobs as a single mother to support them and was the main person pushing him towards basketball. With the chaotic nature of his day-to-day life and the fact that his older brother was in jail as well, John started to act out. He was given the nickname Crazy J because of the way he acted and was pretty clearly going down the wrong path. He even got a citation for breaking and entering when he was in high school. But while all that was going on, John was still one of the best raw basketball prospects in the country. He would take a lot of that anger out on the court, and it definitely showed. He also ended up having to repeat his sophomore year after his family moved. And despite having a good tryout for his new school, he was cut from the varsity team because of his attitude. So because of that, he transferred to Word of God Christian Academy with the goal of fixing his attitude and turning things around. Once his attitude on and off the court got better, he started getting invited to all sorts of top basketball camps. As a fifth-year senior, John averaged almost 20 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists a game. He was officially considered one of the top prospects in the entire country and led his team all the way to the state championship. John was basically unstoppable. There was literally nothing you could do to stop him from getting to the rim. And even if there was somebody standing in the paint, he would either dunk right over them or make the pass out to an open teammate. On top of being a freak athlete, he was also a gifted passer from day one. He could see the floor at an extremely high level, especially for a high schooler. ESPN had him ranked as a 5-star recruit and the 5th best player in the class of 2009. He had college offers from all over, but decided to commit to the University of Kentucky, where he would team up with another top recruit in DeMarcus Cousins. And really, they had a stacked team in general. And with that supporting cast, John Wall would end up having an extremely good season, and his impact was felt right away. In his very first game against Miami of Ohio, he had 19 points and 5 assists. Oh yeah, and he also hit the game-winning shot. In his college debut, he literally led his team in points and hit the game-winning shot with 0.5 seconds left. That would be the first of their 19 straight wins to start the season. Like I said, this team was stacked. They didn't receive their first loss until late January. Throughout the season, John had several extremely good performances. There was a game against Hartford where he finished with 16 total assists, which became the school record for over a decade. He had 11 in the first half alone and did all that while only having a single turnover. He played really well when they took on UNC and scored 25 against 12th ranked UConn while leading them to wins in both. Not to mention his 17-point, 9 assist, 5 steal game against Mississippi State in the conference championship that they would win in overtime. Kentucky would end up losing in the Elite Eight against West Virginia, but it was still an incredible season overall. They finished that year with a record of 34 wins and only 3 losses. John Wall ended the year averaging 16.5 points, 6.5 assists, and almost 2 steals. He won National Player of the Year, SEC Player of the Year, and was obviously a first-team All-American. He just looked like he was on another level than everybody else, and his numbers back that up. So of course, when the 2010 NBA draft rolled around, he would be taken with the very first pick to the Washington Wizards. He came into the league with a ton of hype, and it only grew bigger once the summer league started. John averaged almost 24 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2.5 steals a game. Sometimes it takes a minute for top picks to get going, but not him. He looked great right away. And it stayed that way as he went into the league. As a rookie, he tied the franchise record with 9 steals in just his 3rd NBA game. He was the 3rd youngest player to ever get a triple-double and had 25 games with double-digit assists. Not to mention, he won MVP of the 2011 rookie game at All-Star Weekend. He didn't shoot the best on offense, but his playmaking and defense more than made up for it. And in any other season, he would have won Rookie of the Year. However, Blake Griffin, who was the first overall pick in the draft the year before, was hurt, so he didn't make his debut until 2010. And Blake not only won Rookie of the Year, but he was an All-Star and finished 10th in MVP voting. But John was just getting started, and he would continue to improve his numbers over the next few seasons, and by year 4 he really started to reach that next level. Bradley Beal became the true second option, and they would also trade for Marcin Gortat. John was an all-star for the first time in his career while playing all 82 games, and the Wizards made the playoffs for the first time in 5 seasons. Plus, it was the same year that he would become the first player in Wizards history to win a dunk contest. Over the next couple of seasons, he would make the All-Star team every year while continuing to improve. He even made the All-Defensive second team in 2015, but it wasn't until the 2016-17 season where he would truly reach his peak. That year was actually special, and if it wasn't for so many other guards also having really good seasons, then he would have gotten even more attention than he did. He averaged 23 points and over double-digit assists for the 3rd straight year, all while playing elite defense at the same time. Not to mention, he shot a career-high 45% from the field and led the entire league in steals. He was elite on both sides of the ball. There were games where he would create most of the offense for the team, all while guarding the other team's best player. He finished 7th in MVP voting despite making the All-NBA 3rd team, and was 2nd in the league in assists per game, only behind Rockets' James Harden. Nobody knew it at the time, but this would be the height of John Wall's career. He was one of the fastest players to ever play, and his constant change of speeds made him almost impossible to guard. Plus, he could score in multiple different ways. Then his passing was literally a gift. You can't learn to pass how John Wall passed. You either have it or you don't. I mean, him and Gortat literally changed the game for the pick and roll. John Wall was so quick that you basically had to double him coming off the screen, but Gortat would use his body to seal the defender to get wide open layups. They call it a Gortat screen to this day, and LeBron even talked about it on his podcast. He became the franchise leader for steals and assists. He scored a career-high 52 points against the Magic, and that doesn't even include what he did in the playoffs. He absolutely torched the Hawks in the first round, like he legitimately dismantled them all by himself. He averaged 30 points and 10 assists on almost 50-40-90 shooting while playing excellent defense the entire series. He had 3 games with 30 or more points, including a 42-point night in Game 6. Then in the next round, they took on the Isaiah Thomas-led Boston Celtics. John put up very similar numbers in the second round and even had 42 points and 13 assists in a loss in Game 2. It was a back-and-forth series, and down 3-2, John hit the game-winning shot in Game 6 to force the series to 7 in Boston. And although they would go on to lose, it was one of the best and most entertaining seasons in Wizards franchise history. After the season, he signed a 4-year, $170 million contract because the future looked extremely bright. But the very next season would be the beginning of the massive concerns. He was still an all-star and played really good when he was on the court, but the nagging injuries started to stack up. He only played 41 games that year, and the following season he played just 32. He was listed as out for the rest of the season in December due to a left heel injury that needed surgery. Then there were multiple complications with that, which caused an infection. And while recovering from that injury, he had some type of fall in his house that ruptured his entire Achilles. His extremely quick play style was a big reason the injuries started to stack up, but the Achilles tear was by far the most serious one. And to make things even darker, his mom that was there for him his entire life passed away from breast cancer later that year. John Wall has talked about this time of his life before, saying how depressed he really was. Going from on top of the world to quickly losing everything makes it all that much worse. Yes, he got paid and made more money than any of us ever will. When stuff like that happens in your life, it quickly reminds you how little that stuff really matters. The injuries, the loss of his mom, and the pandemic happening all back to back is just awful. He wrote an article called "I'm Still Here" on the Players Tribune about his situation. I really recommend you read it. I'll have it linked in the description. That's where he talks about everything, and it's honestly really inspiring. However, he eventually was able to make a return to the court when he was traded to the Rockets. And the craziest part is that he actually played pretty well. He was right back to scoring 20 points a night along with 7 assists, but the injuries continued to be a problem, along with all the other stuff he was dealing with off the court. He gave it one last shot with the Clippers, and while there were some cool moments, it was pretty clear he was no longer the player he once was. It's crazy looking back how quickly injuries started to take over, especially because before that, he had 4 straight seasons playing 77 or more games. But he still made a big impact on the game. He was always one of the most liked players in the league and is one of the few guys that left his original team and was still loved by them. I mean, he had the Washington Wizards playing on Christmas Day. And although it's sad to see how his career ended and everything he went through, this story does have a happy ending. He's doing a lot better now mentally and is becoming an analyst with Amazon. He's made more than $250 million in his NBA salary alone. He doesn't have to do that. He's doing it because he still loves basketball. We've seen him on NBA TV before and he was actually surprisingly really good at it, so hopefully for him it's just the beginning of another successful career. But let me know what you guys think about John Wall's journey, and please leave a like to support the channel. Also subscribe if you're new for more basketball videos just like this one.